going on, everybody? Northeast here for a little live stream. Doing it live. Those watching later on demand, this might be a little bit different from some of the normal stuff you see from me. This is not pre-recorded. We're live. Gonna kind of see where chat takes us. I have some general things to go over, but nothing specific. What's going on? While chat gets fired up here as we get started out, I have market movers up. I was just digging into some football stuff just for something to do to start the show off. And football market's weird right now, man. Like real weird. Josh Allen's going up. You expect that, but some of the guys going down. Other than Josh Allen and Russell Wilson, the football market just seems all over the place. For example, the one that surprised me the most was this Kyler Murray. His PSA 10 is down 20% over the last 7 days, which seems crazy to me. And this is his base PSA 10 Prism. Because he's looked great. Yeah, they lost Sunday, but he played well, and the teams looked good. And I think that they got a pretty decent chance to for sure make the playoffs at minimum. It just seems really strange that his PSA 10 Prism would go down that much based off a single loss, but what the hell do I know? And then the other one, and his prices have been coming down for a while, which is also weird, is Lamar Jackson. He's down 10% because they lost to the Chiefs on Monday Night Football. Like, okay. And I mean, he's down a lot. Like, if I blow this back 30 days, you could see he peaked up at almost $3,000. And he's down almost a full $1,200. So, Chris, I think you might be right. So Chris in chat says, I think people might be getting cold feet after the week 2 injuries. And I kind of agree with that. I think a lot of new people came to the hobby from basketball and were, super excited about it. Basketball tailed off. And then everyone kind of started jumping ship to football because it was like the next thing. And I think a lot of people that jumped into football, and I talked about this in quite a few videos leading up to football, didn't realize, how finicky football is. We saw it with Saquon Barkley. Let's pull his chart up really quick. A guy gets hurt in football and then his prices just get decimated. Like, look at this is a 30-day chart on Saquon. His PSA 10 was 435 right before he got hurt. It is now bottomed. It bottomed out at 162, and it's currently actually looks like it's trending back up again at 180. I can tell you right now, I would not touch Saquon for 180. So I don't know if people got in, they saw this and were like, holy hell, I need to take my profits and run, and they're just selling out, or what the deal is. Like I said, if I go back over to the price movements by card chart, there are guys going up. Russell Wilson stuff's going crazy. Josh Allen stuff's going crazy. Mahomes is almost always going up. Christian McCaffrey's actually come around the other side. His stuff was getting super cheap and then bounced back really quickly. But like Wilson, Allen, and and Mahomes are kind of driving the football market right now on the positive side of things. Everyone else is just kind of in the tank, and it's kind of crazy to me. Like Burrow's still going down, but that's normal. They're still trying to figure out the price of Burrow. Like that's completely normal. But yeah, I mean, 3 picks in a game is whatever. You'd be surprised on football pop counts, Swagoo, especially silvers and stuff. Like if you came from the NBA markets, you're used to like super high pop counts on stuff. the football pop counts look minuscule compared to NBA stuff. Um, it's kind of shocking, and it even shocked me, and I kind of knew that that was a thing. When you start looking up some of these cards and you see like pop counts on these guys, and you're like, that's nothing. Yeah, but you got to remember, there's not as much product sold for football as there is for basketball. It's what's up, card collector? Basketball and football are apples and oranges when you try to compare them. There is way more basketball product printed than football product. NFL, you guys got to keep in mind, NFL is an American game. It has an American market, and for the most part, Americans buy football cards. There's not a lot of overseas actions. When I say football, I mean American football. There's not a lot of overseas action for football cards. It's completely US based. So you're dealing with a much, much smaller market. So less stuff gets sold. NBA, the reason the pop counts are so high is because they print a ton of it because it sells around the world. China buys it. China alone gets their own product releases in Tmall, in addition to gobbling up the stuff that normally goes out. So the amount of basketball cards in the market are just more than football. So the pop counts aren't as much. Yes, they're going to go up because people are going to grade more, but it's not like the basketball market at all. At all. Yeah, I agree with Kyler. I'm not in like a panic to sell him. In fact, I would actually be looking to buy him. I don't know if it's just that his numbers, like his cards, do I still have that chart up or did I close it? Yeah, let me back this up a little further. Look at 30 days. So, he was trending and flattening out right before the season started. Then he played really well and his stuff shot up. It just seems weird to me that one bad game, and I looked because I was curious. I was like, is this just one sale throwing this off? Because it went from 1,000 to 850 in a day, from 927 or 928, 927 to 929. It dropped almost $200. In market movers, the tool that I'm using here typically takes averages so you don't get skewed numbers, but you can look at detailed results. And you could see here auction 810, auction 935, auction 810. And then we get into the thousands. So this just happened over the last couple days. And I don't know if this was just a couple auctions selling really cheap that's slipped through people's fingers or what. But that just seems strange for me. Even without that, like recent trend down, you could see he was 1,000 here, and right prior to that, going into Sunday, he was at almost 1,100. So he still dropped $100 off a loss, which just seems crazy to me. No, there's not really a great way to know how many is printed. That's the greatest mystery in all life. What's up, Ziggy? Print runs are tightly guarded secrets. You could figure it out on some of the super small releases that have numbered cards and stuff in them. But that's usually super high end product, and you still can't really get a super accurate count. But they never let people know print runs. Like I said, you could kind of figure it out. Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree, Ziggy, about the running quarterback thing, but they're flashy, and as you're well aware, the flashy guys drive prices. So I have heard about Slabstock. I watch a lot of their YouTube content and stuff. I thought their tool would be out by now, but it's not, to the best of my knowledge. I didn't really sign up for the beta. So I just like him because he's exciting. Kyler Murray is extremely exciting. And like I said, I just think, if he goes out there and has a 300-yard game with 100 yards rushing, people's going to think he's right-handed Vic, which he's already getting comparisons to that. And his cards are going to go crazy. Now, I don't disagree with you. I wouldn't necessarily hold him long term, but he's a big game away from his prices just going ballistic, I would think. Yeah, Kyler is a little bit more elusive, but the same things were said about Vic, and eventually Vic got worn down. There's only so many hits those dudes can take. As we've seen with football. In general, I am not big into football. I buy up some of my Cleveland Browns. I have some Baker. I have some Odell. I don't have enough Nick Chubb. But my bread and butter is NBA. I don't think football is what you want to be investing in. Excuse me, how I would want to play the football market is invest in the off season, like in March, under normal circumstances, sit on it for 3 or 4 months, and then sell it all in August. Honestly, once the season starts, football is so finicky. I mean, we saw it in week 2. These guys get hurt and their prices cut 50% with one little thing. Look at even Christian McCaffrey. He wasn't even out the whole season and his stuff tanked. Now it has rebounded because I think people realized, like, wait, this guy's not going to be out that long. But yeah. Yeah, I agree with what you're saying there, Ziggy, with Trubisky. His stuff went way down. Carson Wentz stuff's trending way down. A lot of this stuff's going down. Baker, I was actually going to pull him up. Like, my intention was not to talk football all night, but I was just kind of like, while I was waiting for the show to start, I was just looking to see how week 3 kind of affected things. Week 3 was kind of a quieter week than week 2. I know Baker is down across the board. Let me look at his optic and his prism. This is why you want tools, guys, because you could do this stuff in like 30 seconds rather than pulling up 130 point and running a bunch of searches and jotting all this stuff down by hand. So let's go back 30 days because that's basically since the season started. And Baker's down 56% on his optic and 40% on his prism. And I honestly don't see this changing anytime soon. The Browns offense is not flashy. It is built behind Chubb and Hunt. And Baker Mayfield is like an advanced version of 06 Trent Dilfer. I think that was 06. They're not asking him to go out and win a football game. He's essentially an advanced game manager. His job is to turn around and hand off to Chubb and Hunt 40 times a game and then occasionally throw a play action pass to Beckham and Landry. That's just the way the offense is built. It's successful for winning probably, but it is not successful for card prices unless they just keep winning, which I don't know that I buy that either. I think they're going to get blitzed by the Cowboys. I don't think they have the offense to be able to keep up with the Cowboys, and their back 7 is terrible. It's probably the worst back 7 in the league. So he's probably going to be forced to throw this week, but yeah, Lamar's already crashing, and I'm just surprised by that. I mean, he's an MVP favorite. They're probably the second best team in the AFC. He's, what was the stat I saw just the other day, that he's like 23-1 against the rest of the NFL and 0-3 against the Chiefs or something stupid. It's like, I forget the exact stat, but it's just something dumb. RG3 is like the worst case scenario for any running quarterback. I'm so glad I didn't collect cards back then because I wouldn't have known what I was doing and I would have been all over RG3 because I just, everyone falls in love with the running quarterback. I think it's like the Madden comes out and everybody, they see a quarterback that can run around like an idiot and they get entranced by it, which I don't blame them. They're fun. And I just can't imagine what like RG3's cards were doing that year because he was playing out of his mind. Like he got them into the playoffs and then immediately shredded his legs. So I can't imagine that worked out well for him. So if you guys have any questions on anything at all, feel free to toss it out there. Like I said, I didn't really have anything super specific planned tonight. I was going to kind of let chat drive the show. So if there's anything specific you guys want to talk about or look up or whatever, I am down for it. Yeah, I think I would hold Lamar throughout the season, but I don't have any Lamar to hold. So I also agree, Ziggy. I am not big on football in general when it comes to cards. Inglorious, that depends. I personally think Market Movers is 100% worth it. I am actually working with the sports card investor team to attempt to get a 20% off coupon for your first month, because it is expensive. It is not cheap. The best thing that I could say about it in regards to pitching it is I have been offered other tools that are cheaper for free. I've had people reach out to me that represent those tools and say, hey, we see that you use market movers on your channel. Would you like to use X, Y, or Z product to try it out? And I tried them out. I pay for market movers myself out of pocket. They do not give me a subscription. I pay $50 a month for market movers. And I still choose to use market movers, even though I have free unlimited access to other programs that do similar things. So yeah, I'm working with Jeff Ziggy now. I've already been in touch with him. So I would love to give you thoughts on soccer. I don't have any. If you could expedite that coupon process, Ziggy, that would be cool. I messaged him on the SCI Discord the other day. I'm already all set up and everything, but he said he would get me a coupon code, but I haven't heard back from him for like a day, but I know that he's super busy. The thing with it does have pop reports, but they're not like super up to date. So you can see here, I have these bakers up, and depending on what type of device you're watching on, these might look super small. It lists the pop reports, but they are not automatically updated. So they go a little bit out of date. So yeah, but Slab Stocks was also hoping for summer. I think these people think these tools are easy to crank out, and then they start building them and realize it's a lot more work than they expected. People were expecting Slab Stocks tool 2-3 months ago. And it still isn't out yet. Market Movers has been on the market for almost a year now, so it's a little bit more flushed out. Whereas like Card Ladder, for example, when they launched, it was kind of a mess, to be honest. Now, I think it's gotten a lot better, but at the time it was messy. But I think you can easily earn the $50 back monthly with Market Movers. Like easily earn it back. It's an extremely good tool, and it just saves you a ton of time, which is the whole point of all this. That's why you want the tool, is to save you time. You do not want to be sitting here with sorry, I'm looking something up, so I'm like semi-distracted while I'm talking all at the same time. Where is that thing? There it is. Looking for this. Dump this over here. Sorry, guys. Just looking for but yeah, it's all about saving time and giving you visuals. I mean, sure, you could go look this stuff up. Here's the link for if you're curious about Market Movers. BGS and SGC pop reports are not on here. It is just, well, no, BGS is not, because BGS, the way their pop reports generate are weird. It is monthly priced. It depends on the way that you sign up. He has Sports Card Investor team has multiple tiers. You need to be on the Market Movers tier. If you click that link, you'll see it. But to get the Market Movers tool is $50 a month. Now you get other things with that. To be honest, I probably don't take advantage of those as much as I can. I primarily signed up for the Market Movers tool, and I like their premium Discord. Their premium Discord is pretty good. There's a lot of smart people in there, and there's a lot of people that bounce ideas off each other. I have no idea how the Slab Stocks version would look, just because we haven't seen it. They haven't previewed it. I have no idea. I mean, these all kind of do the same thing. I think Market Movers does a little bit better because the product's been on the market longer, so they've had time to flush out the thing. I just worry that any new one launching is not going to be as flushed out as it should be. And maybe that's why Slab Stocks delayed. And if that is the reason Slab Stocks delayed, that's smart. Because I think Card Ladder's biggest problem was when they came out is it was not a fully featured product. and that turned a lot of people off immediately, myself included. And I've circled back and tried it again, but I just don't think it compares. To me, like, the charts are nice and it saves you a ton of time and it will make you money. Now, it doesn't give you the answers to the, no tool is going to do this. No tool is going to give you the answers to the test. It's not going to spit out a report and say, hey, go buy these cards, dummy. They're going to go up 3x in the next 3 months. But it allows you to very easily, quickly, and visually see trends on cards, especially when you're looking at grades. Like if you compare raw to PSA 9 to PSA 10 to BGS 9.5, you'll see when certain cards are lagging behind the others. And that's when you know that there's a buying opportunity to do that. Because if the PSA 10 is shooting up on something, the PSA 9, the BGS 9.5 may not have reacted yet. And it's very easy to pull up a graph and see that over whatever period of time that you want to see it on, whether it's a week, 10 days, 30 days, 40 days, 60 days, versus, you know, pulling up 130 point and looking up sales on stuff and trying to get an idea manually graphing it. Sure, you could do that, but that's going to take you half a day. I could do that in 10, not even 10 minutes. I could pull up that information in 5 minutes tops. So we'll see. I'm very curious to see what Slab Stocks is going to be like, but the best thing that I can recommend if you're curious about market movers, and this is how I approached it. I signed up for a month just to see. So I took the plunge, paid the $50, used it for a month. And I was like, if I don't like it, I'm only committed for a month. I can cancel it and I'm good. Well, I ended up liking it. And this was before I even was using it on the YouTube channel. And then just decided to stick with it. I still need to actually change my subscription from monthly to yearly because I don't see me not using it within a year. And they keep adding features to it too. The coolest thing, and this, I did not mean for this stream to turn into a sales pitch for this tool, but I do think regardless of what tool you use, you need to be using something. Whether it's CL, whether it's whatever Slab Stocks comes out with, whether it's market movers, whether it's Card Genie. There's like 17 of them now. There's probably some that I'm forgetting. Some of them are better than others, et cetera, et cetera. But I do, if you're taking this seriously from I want to make money doing this perspective, just as like a side hobby, there's very few people that could do this for a living. I think you need a tool. You have to have something. You just waste too much time not having something like this. My favorite feature is my collection. This is something that I was looking for a while. I kept a spreadsheet. This was my collection prior to having my collection. You can see my wonderful spreadsheet here. It is not anything super fancy. I started this way back when I first started buying stuff and just tracked and put in what I sold and everything. It's messy. That's real messy, but it works for me. But this is my collection. So whenever you get a new card, you add it in with the purchase price that you paid and the date. So you could see your average paid here, total paid if there's multiples, and then it tracks your last average sale and automatically spits out your net value and what percentage you're up and down on an individual card. So then you can easily sort this. So I can sort this by net value and see what cards I am up the most dollar wise on or percentage wise on. So like I'm up 1,800 or 10,825%. Because a lot of these I have average paid as $1 in there for, because it's stuff that I ripped from sealed wax. That the sealed wax at the point where and how I acquired it didn't have an entry point. The wax was basically free. What I did with Optic specifically on this is like this is Optic Blue Zion. I bought Optic at retail. I sold enough to cover the expense of everything that I opened. So whatever I opened from Optic retail this past winter, I essentially paid nothing for. So my cost on the cards were basically zero. There was an opportunity cost because I could have sold the sealed wax, but so for stuff like that, I put an average paid of $1 because technically I didn't pay anything for it. if I spent $1,000 on sealed optic retail blaster boxes, etc., I sold off a third of that to pay for all of it. So then the 2/3 that I had left over were free. That's usually how I handle wax whenever I get it for retail prices. But this is just really handy. And then you can see the ones that you're doing your worst on, which is actually Odell Beckham raw. Wow. I did not realize that this crashed that much. His raw prices I paid $21 for. They're down to $9 now in the preseason. Yikes. Glad I didn't buy a ton of those. Only got 6 of them. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander I'm down a little bit on. Karl Anthony Towns. Kawhi Leonard. And then you could see, if you wanted to see net value down, the biggest hit is this because I have multiples of them. And then the second one is Ben Simmons optic, which actually came up a little bit. So, sorry, did not mean to go into a full-blown market movers shenanigans, but it is a helpful tool. I know a lot of people that like, I see Card Genie Pro is mentioned a few times in chat. Quite a few people I know. I know Step Back Sports for the Step Back Sports podcast is big on Card Genie Pro. And he actually just, I think he interviewed, if you look up Step Back Sports, I don't have a link to his podcast handy. He just interviewed, I think, the guy that created it or one of the team members behind it, something. So he had him on his podcast. I did not get a chance to listen to that one yet. I see a lot of people talk about soccer in chat. Soccer is just not something I care about. I have no passion for it. I understand that there can be good money in it, but it's just not for me. So let's see what the soccer market's up to these days. There's not a ton of soccer cards on Market Movers. The popular ones are. So this is a handy thing. And if you guys ever watch my weekend review shows, I use this price movements by card chart quite a bit because you could sort it by sport. And then you could sort it by number of sales. So all the cards in Market Movers for that particular sport, it will show you the stats for those cards for whatever time period you put in. So for the last 7 days, Mbappe is the most sold card, but he's down 6%. This World Cup Prism Raw is down 50%. Holy smokes. From 220 to 112. Looks like most of the soccer market's in the red. Here's some guys down here in the green. And like I said, there could be very legitimate reasons why these guys are red. I would have no idea. Mbappe could walk into my house right now and I'd be like, who the hell are you and why are you in my house? So card collector, I've heard that a lot about CL, that there's not a lot of cards in there. Market Movers, so to add cards to your collection that are already in the system are really easy. You can manually chart cards as well. It's a little bit more work. I haven't done it yet. I only just go with what's already preloaded into their system because it automatically tracks the price changes. So yeah, I'm not kidding, Ziggy. You can literally walk in here right now and I'd be like, excuse me, sir. This is not your home. And that could be for pretty much any soccer player. I don't know of a soccer player that could walk down my street and ask for directions and I wouldn't know who the hell he was. The only time people watch soccer that I know of is during World Cup. And I don't know that investing in a card market for a once every 4-year thing is worth it. In my opinion, I know that that's not the case. I know that their prices go up with all the Euro leagues and stuff, but I can't. One of my key rules is collect what you know and invest in what you know. So I'm not going to blindly throw money at soccer when I don't know anything about it. Ben B, I don't know that it's that simple. That you could break it down to individual transactions. Because some of this stuff in the card market is long-term plays. So I feel like I tend to go in the buying and selling modes where I'll go, 30 to 60 days of mostly buying, and then I'll flip to selling. And a lot of that's because of the cyclical nature of the markets. I feel like I've been signed up for market movers for about 6 months now. I think I signed up in March or February. I don't remember. I've definitely gotten my money's worth out of it. Remember, it's not always about, did I learn some vital piece of information and made a move on a card? There's also the time that it's saving you. So even if I didn't buy or sell anything for a 30-day period, if I'm still using market movers a ton and it's saving me hours a day of research, then that is worth the $50 to me, even if I don't buy or sell anything. Because time is money. I could spend 3 hours going through 130 points, or I could click 3 buttons in market movers or whatever tool that you want to use and generate a report in 3 minutes. So to me, that 3 hours is worth maybe not $50, but maybe that's worth $40, $50, $60, maybe $100, depending on what you do for a living. Everyone's time and money or time to value ratio is different. So it's not as clean cut as like, yeah, I bought this card for 100 because market movers showed me it was probably a good buy, and then sold it for 250 3 months later. So I paid for 3 months worth of market movers. It's not as simple as that. So I hope that answers your question. Yes, basketball. It does appear. So I talked about this on a video. I think it was last week. And I always do these two together. Zion and Ja are still ever so slightly creeping down. And once again, this is a perfect example of why you want the tool, because look at how quickly I pulled this chart up and switched from 2 different sports. So let's look at their 14-day chart. I was literally just looking at this. So over the last 14 days, Ja's down 5%, Zion's down 12%. And once again, they seem to keep doing this. I talked about this in all my previous basketball videos. These dips and spikes, which to me, with a slight downward trend, to me, this shows me that it's beginning to flatten, because it dips and then shoots back up. Dips, shoots back up. Levels off, dips, shoot back up. Now you can see he's trending back down again. I'm guessing this is actually one of the lowest points Zion's been at 520, that this is probably going to shoot back up over the next couple days. I can tell you, and this is completely anecdotal, I am in like a dozen Facebook buy-sell trade groups. I've seen more want to buy Zion on Ja posts this past week than I have in a month. Is Zion going to be a bust? Probably. Maybe not probably, but there's definitely a good chance. Is Zion a good buy right now to sell before next season starts? Absolutely. He could still be a bust if you sell him before the season actually starts. It doesn't make a difference. Unless the entire market collapses, Zion's prices are going to go up before next season starts. Next season is probably going to start. My prediction is Martin Luther King Jr. Day, is NBA opening day. As soon as we get through the draft and free agency and about Christmas rolls around, maybe mid-December, I think the NBA market's going to start heating up. And maybe it heats up before that with free agency. And we don't know when free agency is yet. It could actually coincide right with that. If they followed the strict NBA calendar, NBA free agency would start Thanksgiving week. The rumor has been across, all the different low post podcasts and Woj pods and all that stuff, is that the NBA will probably not want to do free agency the week of Thanksgiving. So it's probably going to be the first week of December. I think that'll be the kickoff to the NBA market slowly starting to creep back up again. The spotlight is going to shift from the NFL. It'll be in its dog days, essentially. In the lead up to the playoffs, they'll have a month left tops. A lot of teams will be out of contention. Guys will be hurt. The spotlight's going to shift back to the NBA when these guys start changing teams. The NBA offseason is Twitter glory. It's the best few days that there is, that window of NBA transactions. And if we see a couple big moves, big guys changing teams, market shifting, etc., that's going to cause prices to go crazy. For example, if the Mavericks make a move, and I don't know that they're going to, they could play this long term, and they may want to do that. A lot of this is going to be dictated on what Giannis does. Giannis is eligible for a max extension. If he signs that, which I don't think he's going to, that frees up a lot of teams to go make moves now. If he declines that, those teams are going to want to sit on their cap space for the following season when Giannis is a free agent to make a play. So say he re-ups and the Mavs are like, all right, let's go get a move for a third star, whatever that is. Maybe not even a star, but another good, solid player. I don't know what they have left in their war chest to trade. They gave up a lot for Zingas, or they make a big splashy free agent signing, whatever. If the Mavs bring in a big player and it shifts the attention to them and the expectations for them for this season, Luka's prices are going to immediately go up. Luka's going to be on every short list for MVP award next year for sure. Even though the Mavs lost, Luka left on as high a note as you possibly could. That game winner you are going to see on highlight reels from now until eternity. That'll be on his career highlight mixtape. And I think Luka in general is one of the best overall, safest investments that there is when it comes to the NBA. Yeah, I'm definitely working on that, Ben B. And I think going back to the Zion thing, whether he's a bust or not, I don't know that it matters. If you could buy Zion PSA 10 Prisms for $500, let's say, I don't think that's a $500 card come January. And if I was into Zion, which I am, but it's not stuff that I bought. I have, sorry, I might get a little bit quiet here because I'm rolling away from the mic. I have some Zion that I graded. Let me find it. It's nothing crazy. Most of my Zion, I honestly sold off early in the season. I held a few. So the biggest Zion that I have left is this. It's a pink camo PSA 10. I pulled 2 of these and a silver out of Mosaic. It's actually on the channel. I should link. It's a good video. The video where I pulled the silver, I'm actually on camera opening it. And I sent that and these 2 off on a PSA Express order. The Zion came back a 9. Both pinks came back PSA 10s. I immediately sold the silver and I immediately sold the first pink camo. And I decided to hold one as a just in case. And then these you can hear me rant about on my SGC reveal video. These I submitted to them back in May. As we all know, SGC was a disaster and didn't get cards back in. My plan was to get these all back and sell them before the season started back up again for the bubble games. Well, unfortunately, they came back to me a week into the NBA bubble, and we all know what happened with Zion in the NBA bubble. He looked like crap, played like crap. The Pelicans looked like crap, and his prices tanked. So I got those back at the absolute worst possible time to try to sell them. So I tucked them away in the box and said, see you in December. I will probably move off of half that stuff. My general plan with Zion is sell off 3/4 of what I get and hold a quarter just in case. I am not a believer. I think he could be really good. He just has too many injury concerns for my liking. I would much rather sell off my Zion and buy Ja or buy Luka or Trae Young or some of those other guys. Sorry, let me just get caught up with chat really quick here. Tyler Herro is the hottest investment right now, Sniper says. I don't know that I actually agree with that. I don't know that you should actually be buying Tyler Herro right now. If you have Tyler Herro, you should probably consider selling him. I just don't think there's a lot of upside to buying Tyler Herro right now. Maybe there is. If the Heat go on and win the NBA title and he plays great, there's probably a very narrow window there where you can sell off and make some money. But here's the thing. only one of these two teams is going to win, and whoever loses, their prices are going to crash. And odds are, whoever wins, they're going to get a slight little bump, and then their prices are going to come down. And I'm basing that off of the fact that after Patrick Mahomes won the Super Bowl last year, his prices actually went down. Now, if you believe Tyler Herro is a good long-term hold, I would just wait and buy it in the offseason. If you really want in Tyler Herro to hold for 5 or 10 years, I don't know that I would buy it right now. You have a 50-50 chance that he gets eliminated and that his prices tank, because they will tank. Everyone else's prices have tanked. Maybe his don't tank as much, but he'll probably come down at least 20 or 30% off of his current values. So I don't like the idea of buying high. And in fact, I've actually listed or have it set aside ready to list most of my Tyler Herro. I have a few set aside, but I mean, there's at least a 30% chance that this is the highest Tyler Herro's prices are ever going to be. Maybe in the beginning, lead up to next season. But if he doesn't play that great next season, now he looks good. There's just as good a chance that maybe he's the next Luka or whatever. But I am taking this opportunity to sell some of my Tyler Herro. Part of the reason behind that is I have some Herro sitting at PSA right now. So I'm not afraid to sell some raw. Just to kind of, to lock in on the high profits now while they exist. I do not have a Discord, Ben B. I have not got into setting like up a Discord or Facebook page or any of that stuff yet. I might do that at one point in time. The problem is I barely have enough time to manage the YouTube channel, let alone managing a Facebook page or Discord channel. I am in the Sports Card Collector Discord. I hang out mostly in the market movers and the premium discussion. So you either have to be a $10 or $50 member to get into there. If I did a Discord, I would not charge for it. Most likely. I don't necessarily like gating YouTube content like that. I'll take my 37 cents off of some ads, and some Amazon affiliate links and whatever. But, I'm not looking for, pay me $5 a month to get my, hottest pick of the week crap. There's plenty of YouTube channels out there that do that stuff, and I don't know. They're just not for me. That's not how I want to do this. Sorry, just getting caught up with chat again. Inglorious P asks, worried about potential economic recession impacting card prices. Sure. That could very well happen. If you're doing things correctly, it shouldn't phase you that much. If that happens, that should be your time to buy. I'm at the point now where, and it took me most of this year to get to this point, probably a good 7 to 8 months. I'm at the point now where I only use card money to buy more cards. So I don't use quote unquote real money anymore. My wife and I always joke that we have fake money from our side hustles. And anything that I make off cards is quote unquote fake money. So I use that to invest back into cards. But I am at the point now where I will not buy a card unless it is spent with money that I spent on cards. So, and I'm also at the point now, I'm close and I'm not far off, maybe a few $100s, maybe 500 at the most, probably not even that much, where if everything went belly up, and everything was literally worth 25 cents, I would basically be even. So, am I worried about it a little bit? I think it could happen. I don't even want to think about what the next couple months look like. I just want to get through this election cycle and get the world back to a semblance of normal. But I think a recession is coming in some shape or form, and I am no economic expert at all. I'm not a stock market expert at all. I like to buy and sell basketball cards. I will say, and I have a video coming on this, I just don't know when. I have begun to put some card profits in alternative collectible assets. And that's just a fancy way of saying I've been putting some money into graded comic books. I collected comic books as a kid, and now that I kind of have this expendable fake money laying around, excuse me, I've begun to go back and pick up some graded comics and kind of keep my eye on that market. As Gary Vee likes to always say, those guys don't get hurt. Wolverine is not going to tear his ACL. You know, the Avengers aren't going to have a bad off season. So I have actually been putting a little bit money into the graded comic market. Now, I think that market could get hurt just as badly by economic recession, but it's a lot less, and I'm still trying to figure it out. It's a lot less volatile. The other thing I've been putting some of my card money into is actually sealed. This is a good one. This is really off the beaten wall. And like I said, I will be doing a video on this. Sealed Marvel trading card wax from the late 80s, actually from 1990 and 91. If you guys were kids and remember, there was the old school Marvel trading cards. There was a series 1, a series 2, there's a bunch of them. They've been coming out every year since. But I specifically targeted 90 and 91 and one X-Men set. Because there's just not a lot of those laying around anymore, sealed. The singles are practically worthless, but the sealed boxes hold really good value. And I found a couple pretty cheap on Facebook Marketplace and stuff, and they sell really well on the secondary market. So, and that's super long-term holds. These are not flips. Like, you know, I'm not buying a raw Luca, getting it graded, and then selling it in 3 months. I'm going to stick this in a room and forget about it for 5 years. So I have begun to diversify my expendable money investments. I don't really have a great word for it. Catching back up on chats. Thoughts on RJ Barrett? I think he's a good spec play. I don't know that he'll actually be any good, but once again, a lot of these guys are good buys right now because they're not playing. You can't do anything wrong if you're not playing. You know, I've been doing the video series of the, top 5 guys. Some kind of buying, not top 5, but like 5 different players to invest in. I've done 4 different videos of 5 guys in each video, and they're all young spec guys like that. My RJ Barrett, Kevin Porter Jr., Darius Garland, Darius Baisley, those types of guys. And the whole thought process behind that series is to buy them now, grade them, and sell them graded before next season starts. Excuse me, I'm just gonna take a drink real quick. Because as we saw in March through June into July, everybody's prices went up because no one was doing anything wrong. You can't look bad on the court if you're not on the court. And I think the market's going to shift back to that as we move in the pure off-season mode. And these guys' prices are going to eventually start going up. So even if RJ Barrett busts next season, my whole theory is to buy him now, whether it's raw or graded, and then either hold it or grade it, and then sell it in the lead up to next season before they even play a game. Or do what I typically like to do and buy multiples, buy 5 RJ Barrett PSA 10s. Hopefully the price goes up between now and the start of the season. The season starts, you sell 3 off to cover the costs of the other 2. So then now you have 2 RJ Barrett PSA 10s that you essentially paid nothing for, and you can free roll those into the season. If he looks great and his prices go crazy, awesome. And if they don't, then you're really not out anything because you use the profits from the first 3 to pay for the second 2. It's usually how I like to approach this stuff. It's less risky that way. You might cap your profits, but you definitely have a very high floor when it comes to risk. I really like Ben Simmons as an off-season target as well. I've talked about him in quite a few videos. His prices got double whammied because he got the knee injury and the 76ers were crap. And I think they could get a bump, especially depending on what coach they hire. And I think he's going to have a pretty good run. I send most of my stuff to PSA Card Collector, and I send it myself typically. I am looking into sending some stuff through Card Collector 2. If you guys are familiar with his YouTube videos, you probably are. He's on the Card Talk podcast, which is excellent. And he has a really good YouTube channel. He's a shop owner in the Columbus area, which is about 2 hours from me. And I could drop off at his store potentially. My wife likes to go down to Columbus. We like to go down there to go shopping, every couple of months, hang out for the day, hit some restaurants, whatever. So I could easily drop off a submission every month or so down there. I don't like the idea. This is just me personally. There's plenty of great group submitters out there. I don't like the idea of the extra mail step where it goes from me into the mail to a bulk submitter, from the bulk submitter to PSA, from PSA back to the bulk submitter, from the bulk submitter back to me. That's 2 extra trips through either UPS, FedEx, or USPS. And every time you can avoid shipping, I think you're better off. It's just less likely something bad happens. So I typically like to submit myself, regardless of who I'm submitting to, whether it's PSA, BGS, or SGC. But if I could go locally through him where I drop off once a month or every 2 months, I would be willing to do that because then I could just go down and pick him up. His prices aren't bad and he gets them back a little bit faster than I would doing it solo. I have 2 orders at PSA right now. The first one is working its way through the system. I should actually hopefully be getting that back in the next few weeks. I was hoping to have it back before the NBA Finals wrapped up because I have a Tyler Herro number to 25 out of Mosaic in that batch. I have an orange fluorescent NBA debut Tyler Herro to 25 sitting at PSA right now that I would love to have up on a 7-day auction on eBay at the moment. But yeah, I love little spec plays like that, like Chuma Okiki. There's a ton of them because your point of entry is next to nothing. You could get into them for next to nothing. Yeah, I don't know. Rookie of the Year seems a little crazy, but I just like the fact that you can get those guys for nothing. Maybe Card Collector. I don't like, people have asked me before to do like group subs and stuff. I don't like the responsibility of having someone else's cards in my hand, if that makes sense. I just don't want to be, I'd be a nervous wreck. I'm a nervous wreck with my own stuff, let alone someone else's. I'd be like sweating driving them down there with them buckled up on the front seat inside like a styrofoam cooler, inside like 8 pounds of bubble wrap, worried something was going to go wrong with them. But I'll let you know if I end up going that route. I got to work out the details because I'd like to do, he has like a $15 per card submission, but the cap on that is $99 value, which in a PSA 10 is pretty much everything in the world is over that. So I just actually, I've been talking to them on IG to get an idea if they use PSA 9 values for that. Because if that's the case, I got a bunch of stuff. That's actually what, is this on camera? Yeah. This stack here that's already all in card savers is my next grading batch. I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do with them. If I want to submit through him or if, because I was getting ready to send another batch to PSA myself. So we'll see. We shall see. I do not believe any grading companies are currently accepting drop-off orders with the pandemic going on, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. I don't know crap about hockey, Cruz. I would love to give you some hockey hot tips, but Hockey's the other sport. I don't follow it. I can't watch it. I can't get into it. I've tried. I had a really good friend in high school. His parents had season tickets to the Penguins for the Lemieux Yager run. And we went a few times. And hockey in person is awesome. It's really cool in person. I would go to a hockey game tomorrow if live sporting events were a thing. But I can't get into it to watch it on TV, and I just can't get in it to follow the sport. I tried during and this was quite a while ago, during the NBA lockout. I tried to get into hockey, and I just couldn't do it. Like I said, I love the sport live. I think it's one of the greatest live sports there is. But I just can't, for whatever reason on TV, it just does not do it for me. That's good to know, Chris. Yeah, I'll wait to see what they tell me on Instagram, because I have like what I'd like to send through them on the little 15-day thing or the 40-day thing at $15 a card. Like I have all this mosaic stuff, and like raw, it's not worth a lot. But if you could pull PSA 10s, they can easily pull over $100. Like I got this Giannis green from this year's mosaic. It's not like a huge card, but I love the green with Giannis, like the same color on color, looks really good. Same with like the green MVP. And then I have a ton of these like mosaic inserts of LeBron and Luca that raw sell for, $5-10, but in PSA 10s go for over 100. I have some baseball, some Jordan pinks, a Kyle Lewis base chrome. Once again, a bunch of mosaic inserts, Luca's, LeBron's, some Zion NBA debuts, some LeBron base mosaics, just stuff like that. That's not like, it's not some monster, $1,000 card or anything crazy, but it's stuff that if it grades well, you could turn a really nice profit on. And that's all stuff that I opened. So I know it's in pretty good shape. And then I have some other things that I think are beyond that limit. Unfortunately, he's played like crap, or because he's been hurt. AJ Brown select silver field level. I have a couple optic Tyler Heroes, a Zion pink camo debut, my boy KPJ, silver prism, and a couple RJ Barrett bases, which could actually probably go in that other one. So I've been sorting through all my stuff. This is the time you should be grading your NBA stuff. You should be sorting through, and you should be sending stuff off to be graded if you have NBA raw laying around. This is the time to do it. You should be sending that stuff in now, not later. So, SGC could be doing in-person drop-offs in my backyard, and I wouldn't take them. Retail is a pure mess right now. I think retail is going to be the next big thing to shift the market. Because I don't think retail at Walmart and Target may not exist in 6 months. A lot of stores are already starting to pull it. I see posts on Facebook every day of stores replacing the card aisle with candy. Card Collector 2 said his 45 day has been running about 60 days. Which would be 60 business days, which would be 3 months, which I'm fine with. I'm perfectly fine with that. I don't need this stuff back till January. So if I drop it off next month and he tells me 90 days, I'm perfectly cool with that. I like Eloy, I think, better than Lou Bob. I would have actually, and I actually did this. I did not have a lot of Jamal Murray. I had a couple select rookies that I picked up at a local card store for like nothing a couple months ago. I just sold them raw. Jamal Murray has never showed this before. He went absolutely batshit crazy in the bubble in the NBA playoffs. And I cashed out just selling him raw. Versus sending him in the grade. They were in pretty good shape. They probably would have at least PSA 9, maybe PSA 10. But Sometimes don't be afraid to take the profit selling raw. You never know what's going to happen in 3 months, especially while the season's going. When you're in the off season like this, it's a little different story. Things are a lot more stable. Um, but Jamal Murray is going to be a hyped player going into the next season. Grading it would probably work out fine, but there was other things I wanted to spend that money on, and I literally spent $3 on some select rookies, and I sold them for I think I spent like $9 total on 3 select rookies and sold them for like $90 for the 3 of them, like 30 a pop. So, if I can make $87 for basically doing nothing, or $83, whatever it was, doing nothing, I just locked that profit in and just moved on to the next thing. I'm going to imagine, Inglorious, that, and this is in regards to retail going away. I purposely kept the chat up on screen for anyone that watches the VOD of this could maybe follow along and chat with the questions. My guess is that Panini just in-houses it and sells it direct through them or some third party. But they got to figure out their bot stuff, because that's just as bad. Like, the bots to me are worse than the people camping out in line at stores. Or the stores that want to deal with it are going to put limits in place. I've said this multiple times before. All the targets around me have limits in place. And now I'm seeing that Walmart's, not necessarily by me, but I've seen it on Facebook and stuff, that Walmart's are starting to put limits in place of 1 per person, 1 sports card product per person. Most of my targets are 2 to 4 per person. So, and that didn't really fix anything. My local Target, and I've told this story before on here, I walked in the morning that I know that the vendor stocked when Chronicles came out. And mind you, this store has a 2 product limit. There was about 2 dozen people lined up waiting for the vendor to come in. He hadn't even come in yet. This was at like 9:30 in the morning, and the vendor would typically get to that store around 10 or 10:30 and be done stocking by like 11. And they were there since the store opened, basically lined up waiting. I am not going to wait in line for 3 hours for 2 blasters of Chronicles. No thanks. I went in, I giggled at all the people laughing in line, went to Starbucks, and then walked back out to my car. So, I don't think the whole toy sporting goods section thing's going to last. The reason they moved them out of there in the first place is theft went through the roof. That's why they put them up front. Chris, if you look on his website, he has a submission or a grading section, and he gives a rundown on it. So double check it. I could be misquoting. But yeah, I saw your little Buckeye logo up there on your YouTube chat. I would love to live in Columbus. That's me and my wife were on a potential list of places to move to. I really like it down there. I 100% agree with you, Inglorious. I cannot stand bots, and I just, the whole bot thing needs to go away. I could definitely see Panini increasing prices on retail for sure. I don't go that far, Gmail, but I have seen, I don't know if you go this far out east, like Aurora has limits, Streetsboro has limits, Macedonia has limits, like all those stores have limits. I don't want to go to Steelyard because I don't want to have to bring a gun with me. Kidding. I know that that's not a great area. My buddy used to manage the Best Buy there years ago when it first opened, and their theft at that store was the highest in the entire company. I've never sent sports and non-sports in the same order. I wouldn't see why you couldn't, though, because you could send 2 different submission levels in the same package, and they're fine with it. Macedonia's, this is super inside. No one's going to care in this chat or this VOD other than about 5 people. The Macedonia target's extremely hard to get product for because the Macedonia is the worst because the Energizer vendor is in with the card vendor. They're buddies, and she buys a lot of the stuff. He stocks the shelves, but she's always first in line and grabs whatever she wants. I've run into that lady multiple places before. The Energizer rep. She used to work for the card company rep. That's my most popular video on the channel is a video about retail hunting. And if you're not like the retail game, and I'm basically retired from it, I've given up. It's a joke. There's so much stuff behind the scenes and in back rooms and shenanigans that go on. It's ridiculous between employees, vendors. Luckily, the guy that stocks targets around me is on the up and up for the most part. I've never seen him do anything shady. He always puts product on the shelf and stuff first. But this lady's friends with him, so she knows when he's going to stock. Now, all those targets have limits. But prior to that, with Optic, like she beat me out on Optic a lot. She was always getting stuff. But that's the whole thing's inside baseball. Once the prices skyrocketed, it literally just took a lot of people out of the game. So I'm going to wrap things up here pretty quick, guys. So if you're not subbed to the channel, sub to the channel, like the video, comment, all that YouTube crap that I hate talking about. But I'm going to wrap this pretty quick. I want to go watch the Indians get their asses kicked by the Yankees again after Shane Bieber had just a wonderful outing last night. So I don't know how often I plan on doing these. I don't know if I'll go weekly. The only reason I was planning on doing this starting at like 7, but I moved it up an hour because I wanted to finish up around when the Indians game came on to be able to go listen to that. So I'm not sure if I'm going to do it every week, but maybe every other week. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how this one does. This seemed pretty good. There was a lot of people in here. We had a lot of good back and forth. But I'm definitely going to continue to do the lives weeknights during the evening versus the previous Sunday mornings. So I think the next video that I have, I came up with this idea today. And this will probably go up on Friday. Maybe. I have a very long day at work tomorrow. But I'm going to try to get this up on Friday. I'm going to do one specifically on how to kind of protect yourself, whether you're investing or collecting in regards to scams and getting ripped off and that sort of stuff. That stuff's been on the rise. So the online inventory tracker means nothing. Gmail. That's retail hunting 101. Target and Walmart online inventory trackers for stores for cards mean 0. Never trust those things. Cards aren't ever actually entered into the retail system's inventory because they're stocked through the vendor. They never get scanned in like regular product does. That's why the inventory trackers are never right on store sites. And if you ever go into a store when they're counting inventory, all the cards are always tagged DNI, which means do not inventory for monthly inventories, because it's not part of Target's actual inventory. Target doesn't own the cards, the vendor does. They basically lease the space. So, yeah, I try to post the alerts for these like at least a full day before, so it kind of sits there and says like, hey, there's a live coming or whatever. So I'll try to at least give a day notice on those. And like I said, I think it's typically going to be on Wednesdays. I just don't know if it's going to be weekly or bi-weekly. I haven't decided yet. So, all right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and bounce off here. Like I said, if you want to check out Market Movers, that is the tool that I use. That is the link for it there to get signed up. Like I said, I am working with them to get a 20% off coupon for your first month. And once again, they did not give me a free subscription to this. I pay $50 a month for this, just like everybody else. And like I said, I had the opportunity to use other tools at no cost that are paid tools, and chose not to. I think this is probably the best one on the market. But yeah, click links, like buttons, comments, subs, affiliate links, shenanigans on Amazon, all that nonsense. So I will catch you guys on the next. I probably saw you there. But I'll catch you guys on the next one. Let me go see what this tribe's going to do, how they're going to break my hearts this evening. And those watching at home and on demand or whatever, we'll see you guys on the next one too, future people. But that's it. I'm going to get out of here, guys. We will see you later.